Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ask Me Monday. I am Vicki Howell. Just going to sit down my watch here. So, hello. It's been a while. It's been a minute. We were on hiatus while we went to go film the studio portion of the Knit Show with Vicki Howell, which was an amazing experience, and I just cannot wait for you guys to see all of the episodes. You can see a teaser that we've just put up on YouTube. You just go to YouTube and search The Knit Show with Vicki Howell. You can also see some behind the scene photos if you go to VickiHowell.com. Where there's so much going on right now. We're in post-production, and I think you're going to dig it. We had 20 experts from all over the country and Brazil and Canada come down to Austin for the week. This shooting space was amazing. It was just designed and decorated by Tracy Gowdy and her husband, Patrick Hubick, to be just fantastic. And everybody at Team Production 4 just did a great job. So super excited. If you're interested, we do have a few The Knit Show tote bags left. If you go to thenitshow.com, we have a few. They're a limited run. We probably will get more. I'm just not sure when we'll have the bandwidth to do it. There's also enamel pins. And if you're still interested in being a backer, we're still fundraising to help with some additional promotional travel costs and to pay our amazing publicists we're about to hire. So if you'd like to be a backer, which means that you get your name on the list of Inner Sanctum backers, just go to thenitshow.com, and in the shop area you can see backers. So hello, and I see everybody saying hello. Hi, Carol. Hi, Peggy from Carson. As usual, we love to start the day by telling each other where we're watching from and what we're making. The boards here, the comment section I call the boards, are your community as much as they are mine. So please take a second to introduce yourself and also just to let people know what you're making. So I think that was all of the other thing, it's our 2-year anniversary. I started Ask Me Monday 2 years ago this week. The very first day that we were allowed to be a part or that Facebook mentions the app that I use as a verified user, allowed us to live stream. I tried it, and then we turned it into a thing. So 2 years. So thank you to those. Thank you to all of my viewers, those that have been with me for a couple of years. Just a huge... It's so great having you in the community and getting to show you a little crafty knowledge, which brings me to today's episode, which is brought to you courtesy of Indigo Junction and their fiber flare product. So I'm pretty excited because we've done a little hand sewing on Facebook Live, more my Makers with Vicki series than an Ask Me Monday, but we've never focused on paper piecing. So dimensional paper piecing is a really sort of fun craft. It's kind of geometry in action, but, maybe not as mathy for those of us that are less mathy, but really just cool. So you can make all kinds of things, and I'm going to show you a bunch of them today. I'm going to show you specifically how to make this bowl and this really cool fabric. This is part of Amy's fabric line, the Kyoto fabric line from RJR Fabrics. And you can see inside and outside. And for those of you that are fans of, that saw the whole theme on the Knit Show, we have the Knit Hive, where it's kind of like a knitting bee, but also the hive mind take. We actually, I know these are pentagons, but it reminded me of the hexagons that we had all throughout the set, as just sort of a shout out to that. So you can tell where my brain is, but this made me happy to sort of have a nod for that. So this bowl can actually also be a biosphere, and you can do it with all different kinds of fabrics. See, this is cool. So this is the same pattern, and I'll get into that in a second in the demo. You can either make the sphere, and that's just for pretty, not really a function, but just for pretty. Or if you want function, you can make a bowl. This would be great for holding tapestry needles, little scissors, stitch markers, stitch holders, cable needles, anything like that. There's this other one, this may be my favorite, that they sent me, and this is all vintage bark cloth, which I love. I'm a huge fan of vintage bark cloth. And you can also see, and I'll talk about this in a second, I don't know if you'll be able to see on video, but this one has batting under it, so it's got a little even more dimension to it. And this one doesn't, so it's a little bit flatter. It's a really subtle difference, but cool. It gives a different effect. Let me show you a bigger one, maybe if it doesn't fly off the table. This is a ginormous one that Amy also sent. So really fun. There's some fabrics. You can use all kinds of different fabrics. Amy's got her own lines and you should check them out. They're really vintage inspired and adorable. The star just flew off. It's been doing that. I tried to washi tape it up and it didn't work. So I guess we're talking about stars now too. Here's something else that you can make using a technique that I'll talk about in a second. And all of these come as kits in kit form. So that means that most of the work is done. You just have to add some supplies. But this is a star. This would be really great. There's a smaller one that you can get that I'll show you a kit for later that you could put on your tree, but you could also just change it up for the holidays on your door. You could do different sorts of fabrics for all different ones. There's also, I just think this is so cool. I don't know why I need it in my life, but I really kind of do. It's so cool. So all of these are kits. This one is called the Radiant Star, and it looks like this kit. And then this one, let me see if I have the kit for that one. I may not have pulled the kit for this one, but this one is also a kit, and you can also get that at indigojunction.com. And also, before I forget and get into the crafts, because once I get crafting, sometimes I forget the details, they are offering a special 20% off on all of these kits that you see today. All you have to do is go to indigojunction.com, and if you use the code INDIGOLIVE, you get 25%. They spell indigo with a Y, not an I, so INDYGO, because they're fancy. Okay, I'm gonna stick this star over here. Set it down for a second, and let's get talking crafts. All right. So I spoke a little bit about fabrics. Again, great fabrics by Amy, but you can also kind of hit up your stash. You can work on some holiday versions, like this one, Halloween. In line, the battle head to head for my favorite holiday with Christmas. Really cute for little candies if you want a little candy dish out. And please, if you're enjoying this or you think that you have a friend or a family member that might be digging this topic or this video, please share it. Caring is sharing. Here's another fabric. This one feels a little more holiday, like winter holiday. This one has wool appliques that were put onto it, which adds a whole other vintage kind of aspect to it. And you can also use these for notions. As I said earlier, vintage buttons. I'm just throwing these in for scale so you can kind of get an idea what this size looks like. And this is the large version. You can also get small, a wee one. And then I believe this is an extra large one here. So super cute. Another cool thing is, like, I mentioned before that I love the bar cloth one. That made me start going through my vintage bar cloth. So I've been thinking about that. And my own holiday fabrics. I think a Christmas one would be super cute. The other great idea that Amy had is using these as sort of kind of like heirloom, like memorabilia in action. So if you have maybe baby clothes or vintage ties, or maybe like just some form of special blankets or something that you don't want to keep as a whole, but the fabric really means something to you, you can use that as your piecing, and you can create either, one of these bowls or these biospheres or these beautiful radiant stars, like I showed you before, the bigger stars, or they even have ornaments, which are really cool. And these would be great office gifts. Little vases are really cool. I think this would be super sweet, especially, and you don't have to just use them for flowers. You can also use them knitting needles. Hello. Crochet hooks, super cute, but also really cute if you were going to deliver flowers to somebody. If you also put them in, you'd have to put a vase inside, but also put them in something handmade. I think that's just really cute. Oh, here's the ornament tree topper kit. There is the same sort of general method, a little bit different. We're going to talk about this in a second, but kits for bags. And I really dug this needle case version. So let's talk kits and what comes with them and what to expect when you order. All right, so you're going to get instructions, and I'll talk the paper pieced ones first, and then we'll move over to using our backing. So they come with this board in the pieces pre-cut. This is also going to be the pieces that you use as a pattern to cut your batting should you choose to use batting. But you don't have to use batting. I showed you 2 different ways. Then you get instructions, and they talk about stitching, but also the pattern for the fabric. You'll notice that the pattern for the fabric is bigger because you need a seam allowance, and that's the part that you fold over, and I will show you that in action in one moment. And then it gives you all kinds of written instructions. Any question that you could possibly have about that comes with it. So to make this project, the only other things that you'll need are your fabric, which you can either order or use one of the other options that I have already mentioned. And then you need some kind of glue. Just a regular glue stick is fine. You'll need some really thin batting, optional. And then you'll need some sewing thread. Amy recommends a size 12 weight, like decorative thread. I think that Sulky makes it, but you can just go and get, really any thread works, but the heavier weight is a little bit better when you're working with something that is going to be at a join like that. And I think that's everything that you'll need. I think we're good for this first piece that we're going to make. So this is the part where I flip the camera over and you talk amongst yourself. I'm going to clear some of my workspace just to give me a little breathing room. You talk amongst yourself, share all of the things that you are working on right now. I'd love to know if you've ever done any paper piecing before. And I'm going to flip the camera, and it's never pretty, but we're all in this together. And we'll go from there, and we will dive into our demonstration. All right, here we go. Okay, so first of all, I've got my pieces all laid out. And you can see here, I put them on this pink paper just because, so you could see them better. I needed the white for the thread later. I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so these are the pieces. And I just want to lay them out because it's a little hard, or at least it's a little hard for me, to visualize how this all comes together without seeing it step by step. So this is how your pieces will look. These are marked just so you can see B for base, and these will be the top edges. They don't come that way. This is just, whoops, this is just a visual cue, which you can do or not do. It's totally up to you. Hello, Chris, good to see you. Hello, Alicia, thank you so much for sharing the video. We really appreciate it. Okay, so once you've got your, that's just what they look like. So I'll set them aside. Okay, from there, you choose your fabrics. And as I mentioned, we're making this bowl. So our fabrics are these. And this again is the Kyoto line. So we're working with these. So you're just going to pick them and you decide how many of each you want, how you want it to look. Do you want them to be, this has the same fabric on every outer piece and the same fabric on every inner piece. But as you can see, let's see, here's another one. In the Halloween bowl, different fabrics were used for every single pentagon. So really you do you. Let yourself be creative. I recommend laying it out ahead of time and then maybe just snapping a quick phone pic once you find the way that you like it, how it looks, so that you'll remember when you're assembling. Okay, so I've cut out my paper piece. Then I've got my batting, and if you just use, you can either use just a plain marker, you can use a fabric marker that disappears. It won't really matter because it's going to be covered anyway. Then all you want to do is cut this out, and you'll get a little piece that looks like this. Hi, Pam. Hi, Ruth Ann. And then you want to cut out your fabric, again, using the large pattern. the larger pattern. And this is when you grab your board. Okay, so I have a piece. You want your batting to go on top of the shiny side. Now you won't really be able to see this on the camera, but there's a matte side and a shiny side. The glue will stick a bit better if you use the matte side. So we go this route. Caitlin, you're right. It would be super cute for a bowl of cookies laid out for Santa. That's a great idea, especially in those Christmas fabrics. And actually, when I was on Indigo Junction earlier, I saw that they had a vintage-inspired little bell Christmas pattern fabric that would be perfect for that. Okay, so now you can also, if you're feeling super fancy, you could spray this with some some batting adhesive. It's not necessary, but if you're feeling it, go for it. And then you could do that again with your last piece. Again, the batting is optional. And then from here, all you need to do is start gluing. So you're going to just pick a side, add some glue, fold it over, kind of give it a little press down, and then you'll see I'm kind of pinching that. Well, glue would be helpful. Add some more glue. Fold it over. And you would just continue this all the way around until you get a piece that looks like this. So as you can see, it does not have to be perfect. It's okay if you've got a little bit more of a lip on one side than you do on the other. But then look how cute that is. It's a tiny little quilt of cushiony cuteness. So after you have all of your pieces, and again, play with it, how you want to lay them out. Like let's say we wanted this one to be a base. We might lay them out like this. Just play with it. Maybe we decide, oh wait, I want to go crazy. I want to throw this one in. You just play with it. Okay, from there you're ready for the sewing portion. Now this, the board type is meant to be hand sewn really only. Yeah, I wouldn't mess with the machine here with the cardboard. It'll mess up your machine and break needles and be a hot mess and then make all your hard work sad. So what you want to do is just take thread, and this is why I brought out the white, because it happens to be the same color as my table. And you want to sew two pieces together. So edge to edge. Now, a quick tip for, you're going to take your thread and you're going to knot it. But to hide that knot in your kind of hem, if you come in from the back and you kind of slide in that needle, pull it through, and see that's totally hidden. And then your knot isn't shown in it everywhere. Super easy, but great tip. Okay, so then from here, you can either get all fancy with some decorative stitches if you'd like, or you can just straight up, you can use like a ladder stitch or something like that, or you can just straight up whip stitch. It's totally up to you. I'm gonna go straight up whip stitch. You wanna make sure that you're not getting the board. And I see Amy from Indigo Junction is also posting links, so please take a look at those. She's got a bunch of great YouTube videos herself that explain things in even more in-depth manner, so you can definitely check that out. And also links to check out these kits. Okay, so you just continue in that manner. You can see I'm just whip stitching around. You just take a little, can you see, just a little bit of fabric on one side, I can see this being addicting. It would also be really fun to get fabric from, say, like a spoon flower or something, where you take pictures of your knitting or your crochet or your, really, or you have your kids' drawings that you turn into fabric. I've done that before. And then make a bowl using those, or a vase using those. That would be super cool. Okay, so you just continue in that manner until all of your pieces are sewn. And this is, here's one that's done. And once you get all of, move these out of the way. Once you get all of the flat pieces together, it'll look like this. So see why I was showing you at the beginning how to lay this out? It's because it's a little hard to visualize from there without seeing it laid out. So this is what it looks like once you've sewn. So you want to sew the bottom edge, right, to all of your center base. Then watch this action. That's how it becomes a bowl. Okay, so here's where you have to make a life decision. Do you want a bowl or a biosphere? If you want a biosphere, then you need to take your other side. And this side has already been sewn, so let's pretend that I've sewn this one. Then, here, you know what? I'm going to use a different one that's already done so I don't have to fuss with it. Nope, no, I am not. All right, so then, after you'd sew these, you'd finish sewing these, and then you can just match up the little, let me give you a better angle. Match up the little angles. And create your sphere. Does that make sense? Like a puzzle. If you want to make a bowl, you fold it the other way, again sewing all of the pieces, and then you would just lay it in. Now, I will say this. There's a note in the pattern, but if you are more of a visual learner and don't look at patterns or don't read instructions, let me give you a little shout out. If you're making the bowl, you notice that this one was made to be a sphere because there's some extra board peeking out. If you decide to make the bowl, the inner layer patterns, the pentagons, need to be trimmed by, I think it's 1/16 of an inch. And then you won't get this little bleed over here. From here, you would just do the same thing, and here's one that's already ready to go. You would tuck in all your pieces, and then you would just whip stitch around exactly the same way as we did as we stitched the other part. And that's really all there is to it. It's super simple, really fun, and super easy. Okay, so that does it for our board versions of paper piecing. But if you are more of a machine sewer than a hand sewer, if hand sewing is not your gig, or if you would just rather, if you prefer working with more pliable materials, there's another option that is also offered, and it is, instead of using the chipboard, let me lift up the camera a bit, you use the stabilizer by Fabriflare also. So this one is made in a very similar way, although instead of having the chipboard, you're going to draw the pattern, and you can get these kits which come with an actual cutting tool. This is not the particular size for this one, but you catch my drift. And you just trace that around on your backing, on your stabilizer. This is a medium weight stabilizer, and so it can go through your sewing machine. Just make sure you get, I would say, like a denim weight needle for your sewing machine. It's definitely a heavier weight. So then from there, all you would do is you'd cut out your stabilizer. Then you want to fold it in, and you want to take like a little mini iron. Clover makes one. You could probably use a regular iron. Just take care and kind of iron it down. From there, you can sew them together using your machine. And you can either do it straight, or you can do this, what's called a hinge stitch. And so it looks like this on the wrong side, but then it kind of mocks the whip stitch that we were talking about earlier with your hand on the right side. Or you could flip it around so that you showed the decorative stitching. All it basically is a zigzag stitch. So it just depends on the set, if you're comfortable with the settings on your machines or whatever, whatever works. So Dorothea's saying we could use school glue on the ironing part. I actually do not recommend that if you're going with the backing, because it might gunk up the needle on your sewing machine. You could absolutely, however, use school glue if you're going with the chipboard method, 100%. Okay. Hi, Roz. Nice to see you in North Hollywood. I was just out there. I was just in North Hollywood shooting the Home and Family segment that I did for their July and Christmas in July event. All right. So that's that. So from there, you sew all the pieces just like we did before. This one was made to be a bowl, so it's been sewn together in this manner. And you can either top stitch, again, taking care, very heavy weight, go slowly, make sure that you have a heavyweight needle, or you could add some hand embroidered detailing here. It might be cute to take embroidery floss and do, say, a blanket stitch or a stem stitch or something like that, or just mock a design that is in the pattern on the fabric. These are triangles, so you could do some kind of triangle stitch. The cool thing is that you can go with a needle. You'd want to use a thimble, of course, but you can go through this. Unlike with the chipboard method, this the stabilizer is totally fine for you to go through with your needles. All right, so that is that. Let me see. I'm just going to go over a couple more. I'm going to show you a couple more samples they sent. And then from there, we are going to do a giveaway. All right, I'm going to turn around again. Hello, hello. Super fun, right? I can see myself. I have so many scraps. I would show it to you, but it's a hot mess, and I like to remain a little bit of a mystery, so you don't need to see all of my hot mess. But I just think this would be really fun. This would be great. I'm actually a Girl Scout troop leader, so I'm thinking about incorporating this into one of our meetings. I think it would be really cute, especially if we did these ornaments and then maybe we dropped them off. They could either give them to each other, or they could give them to teachers, or we could drop them off, at a convalescent home or someplace, that would kind of bring a smile to somebody's face. So maybe I'll add that to the docket. This shoulder strap purse that I showed you before is also a great project to use with the stabilizer. I keep going back to this because my daughter is obsessed with cats. So if I could make that happen for her, I'd pretty much be winning. I'd be winning the week. And that's that. Super easy, super fun. Again, Indigo Junction is offering a 20% discount for my viewers. So just write Indigo Live type in the checkout field. All right, let's do a quick giveaway. I'm going to just do what I do, and I'm just going to scroll. All right, and the first winner is Julia Tararzis. Julia, if you will email let's try that again. Julia, please email submissions@vickyhowell.com with your mailing address, and I will make sure that you get one of the large Biosphere kits as soon as possible. Congratulations, Julia. The rest of you, don't fret. Or if you're not watching live, if you're watching later, I want to make sure that you get something too. So you will have a chance to win your choice of kits. All you have to do is you need to go to indigojunction.com, and it's INDYGO junction.com, and look at the kits. And just in the comment section, we just want you to type which kit you'd want to make. That's it. That's all there is to it. And we will be doing that through the 10 o'clock p.m. Central Time on Thursday, and then we'll choose a winner by Friday. So just make sure that you go over, take a look at the kits, type which kit that you'd be making, and enter to win. And please, if you make any of these, make sure to tag Indigo Junction and @Vicky Howell. with your projects. I always love to see what people are making. It's super fun for me. All right, I think that's all we have today. That was a jam-packed. I talked as fast as I could, and we're still 10 minutes over what I had planned. As I always say, take some time to be creative this week, and until next time, breathe in, craft out. Bye.